today my thoughts, and this is gonna be really interesting because this is my thoughts on the Nintendo Switch 2. Now, this is not your standard unboxing video because if you could tell, I already opened that son of a bitch for like a minute or something like that. So yeah, this is it, the brand new Switch 2. If you could tell from the thing, it looks just like a normal Switch. Well, it is, but bigger and better. So let's compare it to the original Switch. So this is the same size, way cooler, and it looks pretty interesting for a Switch. And so yeah, it has some awesome details. Everything is kind of blurry, and there's a port for your camera, and then in the back of the port, so that's pretty awesome. Like in the original, it's just basically the same, same ones. But now, if you're now, you could just now it's magnetic, and if you want to take it off, then press the button, and then you could play some games on the go. So for first, let's get to the console itself. So here's the original Switch and the Switch 2, and the console itself is way bigger than the normal Switch, and it looks pretty much the same, but yeah, it's bigger, and it has the Switch 2 thing, and in the original Switch, in order to play games on there's a kickstand, and there's the micro SD card inside. But where can you find a micro SD card in the Switch 2? Well, hold on. Have to be careful. There we go. It looks pretty much the same as the Switch OLED models. Here's the logo for the Switch 2, and there's your slot for your micro SD card express, which I'm gonna get one soon. So yeah, I really love the design of this bad boy. So yeah, that's the comparison to the consoles. Now let's take a look at the Joy-Cons. So this is Joy-Con 2, and this is the original Joy-Cons. So if you could tell, they're way bigger than the regular Joy-Cons, and way better. And yeah, the only difference between the Switch 2 and the original Switch, it has a seat button, where in the original doesn't have one. And you could just you could play the game you could play this game in the NES mode, and it's perfectly good, because in the original Joy-Cons they're really tiny, and if you have big hands it will give you cramps. So that's a big upgrade for the Switch 2. It looks pretty good. So let's hook up to the Joy-Cons to the Switch. So here's what it looks like. So here you go. It just go up and down. Well, in the Switch 2, hold on. Yep, it's magnetic. Cool. So yeah. So yeah, that's the comparison to the original Switch and the Switch 2. Alright, so next up, hold on. Alright, so next up is the stocks on the Switch 1 in the bottom and the Switch 2 on the top. So this is where you can play Switch games on your TV. So the Switch 2 is way bigger, and compared to this, And it has two USB ports like in the original Switch. If you're in the original Switch mode, there's a kickstand so you can hook up to your HDMI and AC adapter. Well, in this Switch 2, now you can just take it off wherever you want, and you can just hook up to your AC adapter, HDMI, or a LAN. So that's pretty cool. So yeah, that's an improvement over the Switch 1. In the original Switch, you have your like this one, the US HDMI for the original Switch, and the AC adapter is way bigger. But now in the Switch 2, you have your own HDMI port, but way faster. Hold on, it's really tangled. So here we go. There's the original Switch 2. Awesome. And in the Switch 2, now it has its own charger port that you can take it off. It's basically like you have your own phone charger. Modern phones always used to have those chargers. You could take out the USB. You could take out this one, and then you can hook it to another one. That's pretty neat for Nintendo. Alright. So next up are the Joy-Con grips. So this is the original Switch and the Switch 2. The only difference is that in the original Switch, you could just place those Joy-Cons into those grips. While in the Switch 2, you can magnet them so it looks like a normal controller. So here's the comparison. It looks like. So just hook it up. It's really hard with one hand because I'm holding my phone recording. So that's a bit of a nightmare. Alright, there we go. So here's the original Switch it looks like with a normal controller. It looks pretty awesome. And now for the Switch 2. So you could just, yeah. So here's the comparison. Awesome, bigger, and better. Huh. That's pretty cool. Now for the straps. Now, in the original Switch, you could hook up to the others, attach this up, and you can play like motion stuff for peripherals. So let me show you how it works. So so yeah, now in the Switch 2, it looks pretty cool. So you could just did it right there. Hold on, come on. I think there we go. Come on, you could do it. Come on, I could do it. There we go. It looks pretty much the same. So now you could use it as a mouse. So here we go. There's a comparison. So yeah, that's it. That's pretty cool. Alright, now for the home menu. So here we are. This is the Switch 2. And here's the original Switch. So yeah, it's pretty much the same, but now I just transform all my stuff into the Switch 2. So yeah. That's a really, really far improvement. So that's it. So yeah, there you guys have it. What's my thoughts on the Nintendo Switch 2? Well, it's really cool it's really cool. It has a really awesome console screen. It has some magnetic thing, which is improvement, and it's far down the best console of all time. Now, is it worth $450 to get everything? yes and no. But if you want to save up to get it, then yeah. But I should wait for a price. You should wait for a price drop. That's my opinion. So yeah, really awesome handheld. I wish I could show you gameplay of Mario Kart World, but this is the standalone Switch 2. It didn't came with it, so I have to get it. I have to get it in the weekends. So that's gonna be on my list. So I'll see you guys next time for a thing or something like that. And have yourself a fantastic day. Have yourself a good day, and take care.